Hey everybody, it's Judy Klock, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Middletown, Virginia, coming to you with another tutorial, and it's the first Thursday of the month. So we're starting off the month with another design template. I love using design templates because you can adapt them to use supplies that you have on hand. So let's take a look at what we'll be working with tonight. Let me swap out the cameras. And this is the design template that we're working with. I call it stacked rectangles because we're just working with solid, like not solid, straight cuts, straight edges. We're not doing any die cuts, nothing fancy. Maybe a little fussy cutting for one of them, but it's all straight cuts. So you don't need a lot of tools to do this. And I love design templates because to me they're like a recipe. You can take the basic design and adapt it to what you have in your stash. Just like if you took a brownie recipe, you made the base brownie, and then sometimes you can add nuts or chocolate chips or M&Ms. Same thing. You can take this and change out any one of these elements. You could make this a circle. You could make, put designer series paper on the back, and you'll see a whole bunch of different ways that I've done it. So let's get started. We have our standard A2 card base. Now, all of the measurements for all of these layers are in my Crafty Klock Inspiration Vault. It is for subscribers, and you can get the complete inspiration sheet with all of the measurements for all of the variations that I'm showing tonight, as well as all of the inspiration sheets going back to the beginning of the year for all of my weekly videos. There's a lot of information in there. There's a couple of bonus tutorials. So it's a great way to get new and fresh ideas every week. So we've got here one of our standard layers. I am going to go ahead and find my glue that actually works. Because this piece is embossed, I embossed this Barely Blush cardstock. This is a retired one. I believe it's called Dainty Designs. This embossing folder is retired, but I love it. I just think it's a very subtle design. Sometimes you want subtle. You don't want too much wow in your face. Then we have here a piece of this beautiful artisan sketched garden designer series paper. We're going to go ahead and put that on. Okay. And again, you could put this center, you could put it more towards the top, more towards the bottom, wherever you want, your card, your design, your way. All right, we've got a few more pieces. We've got another piece of our Barely Blush. We're going to layer that up on some basic black. Okay. And then I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. I love putting my stuff on dimensionals. I just think it gives the cards just a little bit of extra wow. Where are my dimensionals? I guess I have a new sheet. I know I have a sheet started somewhere, but I'll be if I can find the started sheet. So we're just going to start a new sheet. It's not like I won't use them because I will. All right, so we're just going to take off our covers. Put that glue out of the way for a minute. There we go. All right, now from the same designer series paper, I went ahead and I fussy cut a vase of flowers. This was one of the designs on there, and we're going to add that here. But before we do that, I want to add some color with our shimmer pens. I've got our Barely Blush shimmer pen, and I just love this for adding just a little tiny bit of color that otherwise you wouldn't necessarily see. So I think it's just so pretty to add this little tiny bit of color. And we're going to come in here with some Peaceful Pine for our leaves. Now remember, it's when you get the shimmer brush started, you're going to push down on these areas, but don't squeeze it over your project because you don't want to get a big blop of color on your project that could ruin it. I've done that with Wink of Stella, so don't do that. Always do it like off to the side on your scrap paper. That's the safest way. This is got pretty good color in there right now. I don't really need to squeeze it and add any more color because my tip is pretty saturated because I've been using this little shimmer brush quite a bit. I love it so much. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add that. I'm going to add again a little bit of our liquid glue. Remember, with liquid glue, a little bit goes a long way, so don't overdo. Sometimes I do, and I don't mean to. Right, we're just going to go ahead and put that on our pink. What do you think? You liking that so far? And then from our phrases and frames, stamp set, I'm going to use happiest birthday wishes. Just going to stamp that on our basic white. Now the sentiment labels, the size on these will vary depending upon how big your sentiment is or how small your sentiment is. So it's kind of hard to give an exact measure, because if you've got a smaller sentiment, obviously you're not going to need something quite this big. And if your sentiment is a little larger, you'll need something a little bigger. So adapt these two layers to fit whatever sentiment you've chosen to use. Okay, we're going to put that there. Now I'm going to place this on the card. Got ink on my finger. Glue on my finger. Right there. So I want this part that's going to be resting on this layer. I'm going to put adhesive there. And the piece that's hanging off, I'm going to use dimensionals so it will match the height of this piece. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of Stampin' Seal Plus there. And we're going to go ahead and use some dimensionals on the piece that will overhang our little focal point. Okay, and that just keeps these two layers even. Okay, and then we'll come in here, maybe, if I can find my rhinestones. I literally just had them because I said I want to use them. And now here they are. They were upside down, so I couldn't recognize them. Imagine that. Imagine not being able to recognize it because it's upside down. Okay, and we're just going to put some of these on. Now, if you have Stampin' Blends handy, you can color these with your Stampin' Blend. You could get them. You can color them in the green or the pink or the black if you have the basic black Stampin' Blends. But when you have Stampin' Blends, you can really have and these rhinestone basic jewels, you essentially have embellishments in any color, because these take color really well and they look really pretty. But I'm just going to keep them as plain rhinestones. So that is the stacked rectangles template. Let's see how we did. Here was our original design, right? There we go. And then here is the card. So I think we did pretty well. We kept it really pretty, almost exactly to what we had. Instead of stamping on this layer, though, we did a fussy cut to have our focal image. So that was one. Here's another one. In this one, same idea. We've embossed the background. This is the stars and swirls. This is new as of yesterday. Same idea. Designer series paper. We added a piece of ribbon to these layers, though. See what I'm saying? We had a smaller sentiment, so we used smaller layers there. I did not color these. I might go back and do that. We have another one where we actually only used that one layer. We didn't use the pink layer on top of it, but we did punch out these leaves. This is one of our new stamp sets, and it came, it's one of the July online exclusives. I don't remember the name of it. I'll put the name of this down below in the description. I'll list all of the products that I have used for these cards. Then we've got our silly old bear. Here we've done two different designer series papers instead of cardstock and designer series paper. Also, this one was die cut right out of the designer series paper. So the only thing we had to stamp really was just the sentiment, added a couple of little of the in color butterflies. And there is that one. And last, this is a sneak peek of one of my projects for the 12 days of Christmas coming up. This is, again, Festive Cheer. This went live yesterday. You've got the designer series paper. We've got our embossed layer. This is a new trio, embossing folder trio. It's got candy canes and leaves and like bats and stars. That also came out yesterday. So that is one of them. But these are all using the same basic design layout. Again, we've kind of adapted them. We've used either cardstock for our layer, or we've used designer series paper. So you can use this, take this basic template and use it in a variety of ways. And here's one more little sneak peek of the 12 Days of Christmas experience coming up. Registration is open now through July 7th. Look at this little tag. This is one of a set of tags that we're going to make. There's be like 4 different tags that we can make. That will be one of them. So cute. Anyway, registration for the Christmas in July experience is open now. It's open through July 7th. The kits will ship around July 18th, and we'll have our kickoff on July 22nd, ending on August 2nd. So that is it for me. I hope that you liked this one. I hope that you'll give this a try. And like I said, if you want all the directions and the inspiration sheet, as well as a whole library full of these inspiration sheets, be sure to sign up for my Crafty Klock Inspiration Vault. I'll put the link below in the description. Have a great night, everybody. I'll see you next week. Bye.